Hi, it's Matlis. This is the Matlis Brand Boutique. You're welcome. But actually, this is my room, but it's another topic for another day. So let me introduce myself. I'm Matlis Chenuka. I'm a designer. Actually, I work as a creative director for a cosmetic company here in Switzerland, where we are right now. I'm here because I want to talk about my journey as a designer and share this journey with you, but also because we want to talk creative things, right? My purpose is try to merge design with passions, but this is one of my main purpose with this channel, but also receiving maybe feedbacks on it that might help me and you and the whole community, which will be based probably 3 of my cousins and 2 friends. What I want to talk today in particular is a passion project that I've been working on in the past couple months, and it's a thing that I always wanted to do and never had the time, and now I had the time to develop it. And the idea of this project is called Album Cover Redemption. So since I was like really young, I always wanted to design movie posters because my 2 main passions are like all of my friends know, are cinema and music, in particular hip-hop music and R&B. So I just love those 2 genres, and so I decided to basically give a brief to myself. I know it's not probably the most profitable way of designing. For sure, I will suggest all the creatives, particular designers, sometimes challenge yourself with stuff that you really want to do. And this channel is about that. So what I did here, and you can see, is taking album covers, in particular vinyl. We're talking about vinyl album covers because it's my favorite format. Is the one that I love the most because of the size, the format, like the materials. It's used cardboard wrapped in plastic. It gives like a nice feel when you hold it, when you see it. Instead of the regular, let's say, CD album covers, which are really smaller, they are just have this plastic structure which I never liked. Always makes it feel cheap, I would say, but also it's not the object that everybody prefer to collect. So how it started, I wanted really to give these albums, which I really like, which I really love, from rappers, MCs that I really like, take in a super high regard. So I wanted to give them some grace and to kind of like give a second life to these albums, which I think was worthy of more attention from the general public and the critics. And now I will explain you how I create these artworks for these albums. Let's start from the first one. It's Inspect the Deck debut album, and it's called Uncontrolled Substance.
Hey yo, S-I-N-Y, Killer Beehive, Eastside, ducking the 5, roll with the lie, sweet love, scoop me in the bug eye, we bout to glide, head fry, spit in the scribe, move in the sky.
If I'm not mistaken, it's 1999, the debut year of this album, and great album, hard tracks. Inspect the Deck is my favorite member of the Wu-Tang Clan, probably one of my favorite MCs of all time. I just love his style, his techniques, and just everything about him, just like the lyrical depth and nuances, and it's just like a poet with the words, but at the same time like an aggressor, lyrical aggressor. One of his rhymes he said like, lyrical terrorist specialist at this, and you better believe it, he's the inspector. So this first album is dedicated to this important member of the Wu, and yeah, I just wanted to give him like, you know, take a look at the original cover, just take a look at the original cover. It was not that big deal. Like, is it interesting? The theme of like the dog chasing him, the canine, the police chasing this guy with uncontrolled substance, which, spoiler alert, his uncontrolled substance is music, which I think is really great concept. So I think the album has a great concept, but the album cover I don't think reflects the greatness of this artist. So I wanted to give a second life to it, and I did it how I started. Well, like every design project, you need to start with an idea. Okay, what I want to represent and what I want to communicate to my audience and everybody that look at this artwork. And so I started from there. So you need to basically grab a piece of paper or write it on your phone or wherever you want, I don't care, and ask yourself more, okay, what's my purpose with it? Which feel I want to give to people, which thought I want to give to the people through this visual. And what I want to communicate in particular was kind of like a little bit the dark aura surrounding like this character, the mystiqueness, because a real mystique character, the Spectre, is really like sharp with the rhymes and is really calculated with the rhymes, like of course like an investigator, like an inspector. And but I didn't want to show his face, I wanted to make it more mysterious. So I decided to show him from behind with an outfit that reflects more like instead of the character of like an inspector, more the character of a rapper, but they have kind of like that twist. So I played a little bit with the outfit, and I created this image, by the way, by using AI, powerful tool if you know how to use it. And I started with a picture, a front picture of Inspector Deck that I find online. Maybe I can show you here on the screen. And I took that picture, and but I didn't like the fact, like most of the pictures that you will find of rappers, just sidebar, of this type of artists are really like front pictures, picture took like during a concert maybe, or old pictures. And about this specific artist, I'm gonna be honest with you, you can't find almost nothing. I don't care if you go to Google, to Pinterest, wherever you go, you can't find nothing about him. It's just like, just 3 or 4 pictures, the resolution was horrible. So I was like, well, let AI help you, I thought about this. I really wanted to put a picture, didn't want to create an illustration for it. I just had in mind this picture, a little bit mysterious, and I swear to God, it was almost magic. I told Sora, just give me this frame and this picture, but with the subject from behind. And boy, they delivered. Sora delivered, and I got the picture, and from there I said, okay, we already have the strong visual. But now what? Now, that was the first part, the visual. The second part is always like the composition and the typography, right? Typography, which is a topic that I will explore more in future videos probably. It's really tough to manage in a composition, because what people misunderstand about typography is that it's not just text. It's not just a title. It's not just like, okay, Inspector Deck, Uncontrolled Substance, let's put it somewhere. Maybe let's do like a lot of album covers where they don't put the title. They're just more, when you have a really strong visual, sometimes you don't need a title. But this is a debut album. So I was like, yo, we know who he is. I know, not everybody knows who he is. But this guy, we need to give him a proper introduction, so we need to give also we need to also showcase the fact that it's tied to the Wu-Tang Clan, which at the time was a big deal. And so it was like, I put myself in the shoes, or in the shoes of like the designer would have done this cover, and I was like, yo, we need to okay, how we made this connection. And I thought about colors and typography. I just wanted an aesthetic that fits the time, that was a little bit more 90s influence, but have some, of course, 70s infused aesthetic. Just because I think Inspector Deck and the Wu-Tang Clan are really inspired by the movies of the 70s, especially the Kung Fu movies, but also like those like detective movies. So even before, from the 50s, the noir movies. Inspector Deck and his sound is really influenced by, and RZA for sure took inspiration from that time. You can hear from the samples. So I took my source was really like nuances and references and like sound.
On guard. I'll let you try my Wu-Tang style.
Bring the motherfucking ruckus. Bring the motherfucking ruckus. Bring the motherfucking.
Because that's the misconception a lot of times as designers. We think that we only can be influenced and take inspiration from images or like previous artworks or other designers or other album covers. For all these album covers, my inspiration were never other album covers. I saw them, I studied them, but the inspiration was never that. The idea never came from that. The idea came from really understanding what you are representing. It's almost like painting. You're painting something. So when you paint, you can't take inspiration from other things, especially if you're painting a subject you have in front of you. You have to create your own vision of it. So it's basically what I did. I put my twist to it, and I said like, let's merge all these things together. The 70s influence, the Wu-Tang Clan, the Inspector Deck lyrics and aura, etc. So I merged it together. I use the artwork. I create this composition. We'll have this yellow bar on the right side, and I put there basically more predominantly the name, and down I put all the information, and there's also a small Easter egg where I put like a translation in Japanese, in kanji in particular, because I thought it was really nice twist to also tie to like the Wu-Tang Clan and all these kind of like Far East influence, which I really love, and it really gives, I think, another layer to it. And the inspiration also for this type of aesthetic is really like those 70s, 80s kung fu movie posters, really. So I want to give that twist, like the Bruce Lee movies, the Shaolin movies, and I think the final result can speak for itself. And so yeah, I was just happy with the result at that point. And I know I'm not getting too much into technicality because I don't think it's important. And this is not a tutorial on how to realize this album cover. It's more about the process, the design process, and the thought process to get there, and how to elevate, I would say, creative process. So this video is getting super long, so I think I will finish with this one, the first one now, and in the next videos I will talk about all the album covers and how I got there. Thank you for the attention, and see you at the next one.